Hey guys, AQG back at it again with another video about the Trilogy Enhanced Pack for the Gunvolt games. I made a video yesterday that was more of like initial thoughts after just like 1 hour of gameplay and seeing what changed on the surface. But I figured, let's spend a bit more time with this game. Let's actually play the games a bit more. The game actually just got patched this morning, so I woke up, found that it was patched. I was like, you know what? Let's see what's up. And I figured I'd drop a video that had more concrete thoughts and my opinions on the game, as I really didn't mention much of my opinions with yesterday's video. So yeah, with that all said, I'll be covering each game individually of the trilogy, saying what's different, what I noticed. Obviously, I ain't no Gunvolt Pro. If anyone notices something that I missed or something that I got wrong, please feel free to let me know in the comments. I'd very much appreciate it. But yeah, with that all said, let's get right into it. So, just a quick heads up here, this isn't a review of the 3 games on their own. This is more of a review of the Trilogy Enhanced package as a whole. Is this the definitive way to play these games? Is there something missing? If you haven't played any of the Azure Striker Gunvolt games, should you jump in here? Things like that. To give you like a quick overview on these games, I absolutely love these games. Gunvolt 3 is my favorite, followed by 2, followed by 1. I even love the X games as well that aren't included in this package, but they're their own games, which I could talk about in the future. And I could make more videos talking about my opinions on these games standalone in the future. Let me know if you're interested in something like that. That being said, let's start on with the first game, Gunvolt 1. So let's start with the big thing here to get this out of the way now. This game did not work when you bought the game, when the base game. This just got patched this morning, and that's what kind of inspired me to play the game a bit and do this video. But yeah, from what I understand, it was an issue with the saves. I mentioned this on my previous video, but let's mention this again to be safe. Once you'd play the game the first time, it would run just fine, but then it would create a save file, and something about that file makes it so that the game just wouldn't run again. You could even go into your files and delete it, and then you would be able to run the game again, but obviously, it would create another save, so then you wouldn't be able to run on subsequent attempts. And yeah, so I was looking through that, and I found it was a common thing. I saw other people talking about it on the Steam forums, and it just got patched out this morning. So if you're playing this game after this patch, then that is not relevant to you, but I figured it's still worth mentioning. So yeah. Alright, so naturally, as this is the first game in the franchise and the oldest, of course, this one has the most improvements and the most to talk about. So let's get the big elephant in the room out of the way. The big gameplay changer here that makes this almost a completely different game, or a completely different beast to experience as opposed to the original Steam or 3DS release, is the new skills that Gunvolt has. You have 3 new skills. If there is more than that, I missed them, but I tried to play as much as I can of this game. The majority of my playtime was Gunvolt 1 because I knew this one obviously had the most changes. But throughout my playthrough, I've unlocked 3 skills. 2 of them were the skills from Gunvolt 2, the Crash Bolt and the Dragon Sphere. And like in Gunvolt 2, the Crash Bolt is as amazing as it is there. It's also that amazing here, and it's the first one you unlock too, and it was basically my go-to. I put it as my shortcut button, and I just kept using it a lot. Dragon Sphere is also pretty good, but you have to kind of plan your usage for it a bit. I haven't really got much out of it. And the third one, which is actually a new skill as far as I know, the Shadow Striker or something like that. I don't remember what it's called, but basically spawns 2 doppelgangers, 2 clones of himself on both of his sides. And they stay there for a bit, and they just damage anything that's standing there. Also, a pretty cool skill. From what I've seen, it's not the best damage, but if you're overheating or something, it could get you get you some hits in there. Actually, funny enough, I did get like one use case where I found it really useful, and it was against the final boss, or the first phase of the final boss, where you kind of have to neutralize the shield that he has in order to hit him, and I found this skill does that incredibly well, and it makes the final boss a lot easier than he was before. So yeah, that's the main gameplay change. The other big thing is the synthesis, I believe, is a bit changed. I think they lessened the requirements for the all the things that you can make, because halfway through my playthrough I actually was able to make the boost jump, which is the double jump. I wasn't able to make that in like either of my 2 playthroughs of the original game before. I had to grind afterwards to get access to it and other useful you know, things as well, like the air dash and all that. So yeah, I think they lessened those requirements. It's a lot easier to do, and that'll obviously change your game and how you progress. So those are the big 2 gameplay changes. What else is new? Well, the menus are a bit sharper. I think they're running at 60 frames or something like that. I don't remember them running this smoothly in the original release, so that's neat, I guess. And finally, I think that there's more new voice work for this one and Gunvolt II. A lot of some characters sound different. I don't even remember Gunvolt 1 having voice acting in the game itself. I think it was only Gunvolt 2, but I may be wrong on that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, and the obvious giveaway is they even include like tutorials after the after you come back from a stage. You'll have one of the characters talking to you and telling you about one of the mechanics, about the challenges, about the synthesis system, about this and that, and autosaving. So yeah, those are like the main changes I've noticed for Gunvolt 1. If there's anything else I've missed, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, moving along to Gunvolt 2. So Gunvolt 2 actually has very little changed in comparison to its older release, and this also applies to Gunvolt 3. It's natural, seeing as they're newer games and they had more features coming into them. You know, Gunvolt 1 is the oldest, so therefore it's the most changed. But yeah, basically what is here with Gunvolt 2 is the DLC is included. I completely missed this in my initial video. If you watched that, someone actually corrected me in the comments. Thank you, good sir. But yeah, Gunvolt 2 had all of its DLC, which, to be honest, out of the 3 games, it has the most DLC. I've looked this up afterwards, and has a lot of bonus missions, I think bonus songs. What else was in there? The speedrun mode, I didn't know that was DLC, but that was in there. So yeah, I didn't know all that was DLC. I learned that myself, because when I bought the Steam release, it came with all that included. So I don't know if I bought like a deluxe version or something, or they just put it all in after a while. I have no idea. But yeah, so it includes all the DLC there. And just a slight note here, unlike Gunvolt 1, where you get Gunvolt's new skills by leveling up, I figured they could do that for Gunvolt 2 as well. But no, you actually still have to find them in the 2 stages that they're in their locations. So both the Crash Vault and the Dragon Sphere, you have to find them, as well as Copen's memory chips, or his memory units. You also have to find those as well, like you did in the original. So it's basically the same game. If you play Gunvolt 2, it's essentially the same. Again, the only big note that is different here is the voice work. The voice work is different for some characters. I think Gunvolt's the same, but Copen's different. Maybe Lola's different. Yeah, so naturally I didn't really play that much of Gunvolt 2. I played a bit, saw that it was practically 1-to-1. And yeah, that's all I have to really say on it. And moving on to Gunvolt 3. So I don't really have much to say on Gunvolt 3. Much like Gunvolt 2, it's basically 1-to-1 the same game. The only change I have to note is the DLC is there, and I'm pretty sure that's the DLC. You can tell with the image pulses are a different color. And basically what the entire DLC, as far as I'm aware, with Gunvolt 3 was just image pulses, which are basically like Mega Man boss moves for the game. And they were all of like previous bosses that weren't in the base game. So yeah, I didn't buy that for my Gunvolt 3 game. So it's here now, and it's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure I didn't see all of them, but I saw like 2. And I'm pretty sure there's probably going to be, you know, a couple of them that are pretty busted. Who knows, really, but you have to, you know, play with the gacha system to actually get them, so yeah. Other than that, that's basically really it. Like, the only other really minute changes I've noticed is that instead of showing you what your pulls were after finishing a stage, like one by one, they just lay them out all very quickly, which, yeah, there's no changes to the point where that is something worth mentioning. And finally, I don't think this is a Gunvolt 3 thing in general, maybe it was just my PC, but during the boss fights, the game would slow down for a bit. It's just enough to be noticeable. You could still play the game just fine, but I had to like check and like close some programs in the background to make sure it ran fine. This didn't happen with the other two games, so I figured I'd just mention it, put it in there. But other than that, this is basically, if you play Gunvolt 3, this is one-to-one the same game. One more note, I guess I should mention about Gunvolt 3. This isn't really relevant right now, but I've seen some footage about it, and someone mentioned it in my comments in the first video, so I think it's worth noting at least. I think Copen might be coming to Gunvolt 3 in a future update, specifically X2's Copen, that playstyle. So this isn't concrete. I've not really been following this really, but I figured I'd mention it right now. If they choose to support the game by doing that, or like release anything else for this game down the road, that'd be great. That'd be fun to see, I guess. You know, to enhance the collection overall. Yeah, that's pretty neat, I would say. And the final thing here is they've added library mode to the game. And what that basically is all the interactions between the characters across the three games. But the big one here are the audio dramas. They're also included, and I think this is the first time they've ever been included in any official release. They've always been their own standalone thing outside of the games. From what I understand, they did that so the games aren't bloated with lore and stuff. If you wanted to listen to them and get more out of the story, you can go do that separately. But they never included them in the games. And this is like the big justification to make this the collection, right? So all that is here now. That's great. If you're a big lore fan or a story fan of the games, you can finally listen to them, you know, at your own leisure. It's in one convenient place. So yeah, that's pretty nice. So my overall thoughts for this collection, would I say this is like the definitive Gunvolt experience? Should you buy this, or should you just stick with getting each individual game on its own? I'd say this is pretty good. This is pretty good bang for your buck, to be honest with you. The fact that the games got updated in some way, especially Gunvolt 1, and Gunvolt 2 and 3 you get the DLC, so you don't need to buy that if you bought those games standalone. Library mode gives you like all the lore in one spot instead of you having to go hunt for the audio dramas on your own time if you want more out of the story. So all those things combined, I'd say it's a good deal. I got this game for like 18 bucks off Steam. Obviously that's priced for my region. I live in Egypt. I don't know what it would be. I think it's $40, but discounted to $20. So yeah, about the same deal right now if you buy it from somewhere else. For that money, I think the 3 games and everything you need, I think that's a pretty good deal. I like this collection overall. Is there anything that I would want added? For sure, yeah. So for example, I remember seeing the modes, the additional modes Gunvolt 1 had it, and I kind of wish they were in Gunvolt 2. Like, Gunvolt 1 had a speedrun mode, and Gunvolt 2 does have one as well, but, and if these modes are in Gunvolt 2, please let me know. But I don't think, like, Gunvolt 1 had multiple ways to speedrun the game. There was, like, an endless attack mode where you'd just be transported to random areas and stages. Like, you can be in stage 1, area 1, and then finish that, and be transported to stage 2, area 2, and then go back to stage 1, area 3, and it's just an endless until you, I think, die. So kind of like a survival mode, and see how much of the game you can clear that way. There's a point blank mode depending on how close you were to the enemies when you used your electric field. That you did more damage, so it encouraged you to play more riskier. There was an anthem mode, which I think gave you like I actually don't even know what's unique to that one. You guys can let me know that. And there's like a kudos mode where I think you do more damage the more kudos you have, so it's like a speedrun, but it also was score attack. So all those different modes, I would have really appreciated if they were in Gunvolt 2, and something like that in Gunvolt 3 as well. If there's any of those modes, please let me know in the comments. I am not 100% on this. But for example, I know in Gunvolt 3 there's a trial mode, which basically acts more like a score attack, but there's no like dedicated speedrun mode, so that would have been nice to see. And obviously the only other thing that comes to mind that I wish was in the game was the first 2 games being dubbed in English. That would have been nice to see, but I know this is more of a budget project, or a low-end budget project. It wasn't meant to be this big thing where they dub all that, and I know the voice acting is it's pretty pricey, so it makes sense. It's a bummer, but I understand. Other than that, though, nothing really comes to mind on what I would like. Just more characters. If Copen comes to Gunvolt 3, that would be great. If they introduce any more characters or if they want to support this game going forward by like releasing updates and new stuff, that would be great to see. So, yeah, but nothing really comes to mind. I think this is a good deal. Go for it if you're on the fence, in my opinion. $20 is a pretty good deal. So that's about all I really have to say about the 3 games. That's across my 5 hours of playtime. That's what I really noticed. Obviously, most of that went to Gunvolt 1, but I did play Gunvolt 2 and 3 for a bit to test it out to see if something is here or there. And yeah, if I missed something or got something wrong, again, please feel free to let me know in the comments. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you stuck around this long and you're hearing this outro, hey, thank you so much. Very much appreciated. If you'd like to see me do actual reviews on these games individually and what my thoughts are in detail, please let me know. I'm kind of experimenting with this review process or this review formula. It's new to the channel and to me, so I'm trying to learn what I can. If you have any feedback, share it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.